I want to talk about why Wil Myers is for real. This segment is called Why My Optimism in Wil Myers is Justified. He totally broke out in 2020, and I think that the breakout is sustainable for multiple reasons. There's multiple dimensions to it. There's the physical aspect, and then there's the mental and emotional aspect. Wil Myers had that Rookie of the Year campaign, first year with the Rays, second year with the Rays, struggled. The reason for it, and the reason for his sustained struggles, at least in terms of his mechanics, was because Wil Myers was stepping far too much towards third base, and so his front side would open up, his strikeout numbers went up, and his contact rate and his power went down. He fixed that in 2020. His front side in 2020 stayed closed, he made way better contact, and if you actually look at the Baseball Savant data, his expected outcomes are right on with what he actually did, which means we shouldn't suspect that he was super lucky in his success in 2020. I wonder how many people know that he had a 959 OPS last year, 288 batting average, 353 on base, 606 slugging. Do I suspect that Wil Myers in 2021 will have a Mike Trout level slugging percentage like he did in 2020? No. But he's absolutely capable of doing a 850 OPS, a 900 OPS. The other reason, the big change with Wil Myers in 2020 was the mental side. You look at Wil Myers' career, and throughout his whole life, he's always been the best player. He was the best player in Little League. He was the best player in Babe Ruth. He was the best player in his high school team. He was a tippy top tier prospect when he was rising through the minor leagues. He won the American League Rookie of the Year. And then he struggled. And then he kept struggling. And I think that kind of had a snowball effect because for the first time in his life, he wasn't the best player on the field. And I think that when he signed that big contract extension with the Padres, that he put the pressure on himself, like, okay, I got to go back to being that top prospect guy. And he just isn't. I just think my neighbor, whatever. I'm sorry if you hear the neighbor on the audio. I'm sorry. See, here at Alien Perspective, we have a very expensive studio called My Apartment. I don't know if Wil Myers as a person is the type of guy who can't be that guy. He can't be the guy who is in the spotlight. I don't know if that's him, or if it was a combination of maybe a natural inclination toward that, mixed with the pressure of a big contract, mixed with the fact that there's just no one around him in those blue uniform Padre days that had much hitting ability at all. And I think that when he was able to get over the mental hump of, I've been a disappointment for a few years, he was really able to shine. So I think I have some sort of obsession with Wil Myers because in the midst of my editing, I realized I wanted to talk about him even more. And that's because when I originally shot, I made a lot of positive assumptions about how Wil Myers was putting too much pressure on himself. In other words, he cared so much that it was hindering his performance. But let's take the assumptions in the negative direction. As much as I think the positive ones could be real, let's take the assumption in a negative direction, which was when the Padres were wearing the blue uniforms and they sucked, they didn't have as much motivation. And now he's got a good team around him. He's got good veterans kick him in the butt. And maybe that's the reason that he's finally meeting his potential. And by finally meeting his potential, I mean his 2020 season stats matched up with his talent.